Hey guys, welcome to another installment. Today, we're going to take a quick look at multi-siting. Some of you may be thinking already, what do I know about multi-siting? I serve right now at a portable church, a brand new church that we just launched a little over a year ago. But I've had a lot of experience working for multi-site churches. I've worked for a couple, invested in a couple different campuses, so I know a lot of the questions, a lot of the issues that come up with being multi-site, and some of the things that you may want to be asking before you launch into being a multi-site church. But the first thing I want to say to you is congratulations. Obviously, Jesus is doing fantastic work in your church, and you're growing, and hopefully that growth is because you're seeing life change happen in your church, and people are giving their hearts to Jesus, and that's why your church is flourishing and growing and taking this next step into being a multi-site. And it's a really challenging time. It's a scary time for a lot to step into this, but it's really exciting as well. So I just want to help you with a couple of questions that I think will help you along the way to making good decisions about how your multi-site is going to function. Now, one of the first things that a lot of people think about and are trying to figure out is, are you going to be a video venue, or is it going to be live teaching on all of your campuses? Everybody has their opinion on what's being done, but your church needs to go ahead and make a decision on how you're going to do it based on what you think is best for you as a church and what functions really well for you all. Don't let anybody make this decision for you just because of their own preferences. This really needs to be what is best for your church. If you're going to do a video venue, are you going to be a DVD recorded from the night before, if you have a Saturday night service, for instance? Are you going to record the message and that's what gets played at your other campuses? Are you going to do live streaming so it sends live every service to your other campuses? There's a lot of technology that comes into play. There's a lot of decisions to make. If you're going to record a DVD from a Saturday night service, your pastor needs to be really good about not saying, hey, welcome to Saturday night, or anything like that that implies what day of the week it is, because you want your other campuses to have an experience like they are there with you. And if your pastor can't hold to that, if the people teaching can't do that well, your people at your campuses are going to feel that every time. I was actually a part of a campus that originally started with a DVD that would come from a Saturday night service, and you'd feel it every time the pastor or a worship leader, anything like that was coming across the streams would address the Saturday night service or something to that nature. It takes you out of the feeling of being connected to the body as a whole, and that's something you really want to pay attention to. Live streaming can be very expensive, and it can also be glitchy. Now, things have come a long way in live streaming technology. You need to make sure you have good internet connections, all that sort of thing. The advantage to being live, though, is your body is experiencing what's happening there all at one time, with all of your campuses experiencing the same system, the same message, all at the same time. Nice thing about recording a message, though, it's probably less likely to fail on you, and you're going to be able to record that message and pump it out to a DVD or whatever needs to be and get it to your other campuses. Another option you may be considering is that your campus pastors will be live teachers as well. On the positive side, you've got a live person at that campus bringing the message. So maybe you guys do corporate writing sessions where all of your pastors for your different campuses will write the message together. They'll each give it their own flair at that campus, but you're writing the message together, you're coming together, collaborating, and it can be a really great community building time for your pastors and for yourself as well as they're doing that. It now is a different experience at that campus. And not only that, you now have to find a campus pastor who has the gift of teaching. Not everybody does. It can sometimes be easier if you go with the live streaming mentality. It's often easier to find a campus pastor in a managerial setting than it is in a teaching setting. And being a campus pastor is very different than being a lead pastor or a teaching pastor. They come with different sets of things. But if you have a campus pastor in a manager role, they just need to have a pastoral heart where they draw that campus into community. They are reaching out, they are pastoring that campus and shepherding that campus while they may not be doing the main teaching. So that's something that you want to look at. Are you going to be, do you have that charismatic teacher? Is your pastor going to be really great on video, and that's going to be the way that you do that? You have that great guy that can teach and it goes out to all campuses? Or are you going to go, each campus pastor is teaching on that campus? Or are you going to do a hybrid of that? Some campuses may have live teaching because you got the right person for that. Some may not. But that's a decision that you want to make at the beginning. It's a hard one to change when you're already in the middle of campusing. It can be hard for not only the people that are at your campuses that are attending those campuses, but it can be hard for your staff as well when you start making those changes. If you're going to shift from the campus pastor does some teaching to all live streaming, well, now you've got someone who has a gift of teaching who might be called and feel like they need to be teaching in a managerial role, and that's going to be hard for them to stay and not feel like they are doing what Jesus has called them to do. Another really important detail that you want to get in line as you're going forward is the context of your area. Where are these campuses going to be? Are you multiple campuses within the same town, so you have a lot of the same demographics of people, or you are in really different demographic areas of town? Are you in a different city with a different campus that may have a different demographic feel? What this is going to mean for each one of the campuses is the decision needs to be made. Are all of your campuses going to have the exact same experience when you come in, or are they going to be adjusted for the culture and the demographic of where you're going? That's going to cause you to make decisions about music choices for you worship pastors and all that out there. What music is going to work at different campuses? Are your different campus worship leaders going to be changing the worship set, or is everyone going to play the same music? It's going to mean how you invest in these different areas are going to be different because of the different demographics, the different cultures that are in these areas. Or are you going to take exactly what your culture is, exactly what you are building, and model that in these different areas? That's what a lot of people are trying to do. You've got something that's working, you've got culture that's working, you've got a way of operating that's really working. And so a lot of people think, all right, let me take this and put it in a new area, and now we can start drawing people to Jesus there as well. So it's not a bad idea to do exactly what you're doing at your main campus at your other campuses as well. Do you want to change things up a little bit? Is your worship set going to be a little different than it is at your other campuses? And your buildings, the type of buildings, your graphics, your marketing, building interior, and all of that, are you going to change for different campuses, and are they going to have a slightly different feel? Or are you going for consistency along the way? That's a decision you're going to want to make in advance and hold to it. Keep the vision of it, follow it through. And if things need to change, obviously be flexible, but pick one and go with it. Another part of making those types of decisions are also going to be your team's capabilities. Does this campus have the worship team there that can handle some of the music that's being done at your main campus? Your worship team may not have all the parts it needs to perform that giant element that you're wanting to do. So either you put it in context, or your campus has to do something different that they can't pull off that the main campus is. Those are the types of thoughts you're going to want to keep in mind as you're making decisions, as you're doing planning. If you really want to hold to all the campuses doing the same type of thing, then that might mean at times you have to scale back what you might have done on a really large scale at your primary campus. You may have to scale back, or even that element may have to be a video element and not one that is done directly on that campus. And those are the decisions that you're going to have to make. You're going to want to have in place kind of your vision for what's going on so you can make those decisions well and make them early. Proximity. How close are you to your main campus? You've got a lot of the firepower for making things happen at the main campus that you may not have at your new campus that you're launching. So that campus is going to need your help. It's not going to be self-sustained right off the bat. It's going to need your help. It's going to need people who are really willing to invest in it. That may mean people from your main campus are now having to transition, and they're being asked to transition to help launch this new campus. And you got to be willing to send the right people to do the right job. So think about the proximity. If you're going to be starting something in a new city that is a distance away from where you are, you've got to be willing to send that campus well, send those people well, potentially let some go, and don't force people to try to go move to a brand new city. But some may feel called to do that, and you have to be okay to release those people and let them go to be a part of that new campus, the new thing that you're trying to do. If you feel God called you to it, then maybe God is calling them to it as well, and not to stay at the main campus where you want them to be necessarily. So beware of your proximity. There's going to be troublesome pieces if you're really far away. Especially if you're launching your very first campus, I would not suggest that being an hour, 2 hours away from your main site. Make it in close enough proximity that you can try things out, that you can get things up and running, and then maybe you start to branch out a little bit and move a little bit further away if you feel God's leading to that. But your proximity between your multiple campuses can be something that makes a lot of decision for you. So maybe going back to the top, your proximity may not allow you to put it on a DVD and send it over. You may have already set yourself up that is not an option because that campus is too far away. Unless you want to pay somebody's gas money and driving time and all that sort of thing every week a whole lot, you may have right there placed yourself out of the DVD option. Proximity now has made a decision for you. So you want to think about those, and proximity can also make the decision about whether it's going to be the exact same service or culture. Because your city may be very much like this exact type of a thing that you're used to. And you feel called to go to this city over here. Drastically different type of a city, different demographic, different group of people, where exactly what you do may not work, but it might. It doesn't have to be different to work there, but proximity may be making that decision for you, that things need to be a little different. So creative arts people, worship pastors out there, be ready to be flexible as these decisions are made. You may have a vision for how you want creative arts to go, but that also needs to shift a little bit as you step into these multi-sites and these multiple campuses, because things might look a little different across the board. And be ready to lead. You're going to have to lead your different worship pastors that get hired for these new campuses. You're going to have to lead them in helping them do what's right for their campuses as well, helping them understand why they've been placed here, helping them see their own strengths and weaknesses as they lead, helping grow them up and get them better as they lead their campuses and all that sort of thing. You're going to want to be ready to step into a new level of leadership that you may not have been at before. So take the time, be praying, asking Jesus to get you ready for what that's going to look like, because it will be different. I think that's all for today. I hope a lot of that made sense. I hope these tips were helpful to you. And once again, congratulations if Jesus is growing your church that way, that the next step for you all is to step into multi-siting. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that bell notification so you get notified when I post a new video, and we'll see you guys next time.